Fucking Roethlisberger, the quarterback, was all fucking hug it, chug it, football all night.
Utah, give me two.
What is up, everybody? Mike Virginia here with the Pallazzo podcast. 2L's, 2Z's. Welcome into the fabulous Waiver Wire show. I get my computer set here ready for y'all. It's been a long time. Haven't seen you guys in a while. I was out last week. It's actually been really good. I got to say a couple things before we jump into the meat of the show. Sometimes, guys, you need to break away from stuff. Okay. I'm a full-time dad. I work a very demanding job. Work two roles within that said job. And I'm a husband. I'm a daddy. I got all of that. So sometimes this show does take a back seat, I will say. And I was able to have a little me time with a couple of my buddies. Went up to the beach to play golf, played 3 rounds, enjoyed some bourbon, enjoyed some barbecue, and it's exactly what I needed. So obviously, that's no slight to any of you guys. Love working with everybody here on Pallazzo, Govier included. I know he's really the only guy that does football with us on our show, but love the show. Love you guys. I'm back. I'm ready to roll. But it's also worth noting today's overall arching theme, if a life lesson for some of you guys, and some of you guys may be older or younger than me, is take some time for yourself. Especially with Gov and I too, right? We do baseball. He does college football. He does football. There really is no break. It all bleeds together. So it's important to take that time. And I don't regret any of it, man. I love this show, and I love doing fantasy content. But my mental health and also just stepping away from stuff sometimes is much needed. So welcome into the show. Thank you all very much. Today's topics is the waiver wire show, right? So what do you guys got for me? Drop them in the live chat if you got questions. Who are you looking to pick up? Who are you looking to drop? You guys know the deal. Get them in there. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer it. Just make sure you give me PPR, non-PPR, full PPR, common spellings of last names like Smith, Williams, those kinds of things. And let's get it rocking in here. Let's get the live chat rolling. Let me know what you guys got. Who are you looking to pick up off waivers? What surprises did we see this week in week 7 of fantasy football? I can't believe we're already at week 8. Nothing in the live chat so far. If you guys give me a second, I'm going to get this rolling. Try to get some more peeps up in here. How was the weekend? How did everybody do in your leagues? What's your record looking like? Were you one of the people who had Brandon Aiyuk on your fantasy football teams? Chris Godwin, Mike Evans? Let me know. I did a fantasy basketball draft for the first time. This isn't a fantasy basketball podcast. I did fantasy basketball for the first time, probably like in 3 or 4 years, just because I wanted to get back into it and, wanted to give it a try. And I was really happy with my league. Fantasy sports. What's up, Mike? Dropping Douglas in my PPR. Who should I pick up between Jonathan Brooks, Pacheco, or Rashad White? That's a good question, man. First off, I would love to know how many teams are in your league because, in my opinion, I don't think any of these guys should be on the waiver wire. But yes, I would drop Douglas for literally any 3 of these guys. So I would be looking to drop Douglas probably for White right now, simply because of the fact that Pacheco's still on IR. I don't know if he's going to be back or when he's going to be back. Kareem Hunt will obviously be in the mix still there as well. Jonathan Brooks, same thing. I love the talent, but Chuba Hubbard has given them 0 reason to take him out of the lineup thus far. So for me, I would drop him for Rashad White, especially if you play in PPR leagues. He's a PPR machine. He's getting the looks there. I know he's splitting some work there with the other 2 backs and Bucky Irving. And the other guy, but yeah, give me Rashad White here. Still think he's the primary guy, especially in PPR formats. But the good news is because it's a 10-team league, you can always pivot and grab these guys. If you have an IR spot, I would be looking to stash either Jonathan Brooks or Pacheco, and if I had to pick between the 2, it would be Pacheco. So if it's a dynasty league, I'd be looking to stash Brooks though. You won despite Jaden Daniels getting hurt. Yeah, so did I. I was on a 4-game losing streak. I had Saquon and Bijan Robinson in my league. Mari Cooper caught a touchdown, which I was happy about. I had the Denver defense, which my brother dropped to the last second last week. Not last second, but earlier in the week, I believe, last Wednesday. Scooped them up really quick. I was happy I got Denver's defense. Kami Fairbairn get me some points there too. So I was happy with the win, even though Daniels only got me 5 points. Barkley and Bijan definitely carried the toll for me. So I was happy to see me end my 4-game losing streak. I swear to God, I have the worst luck in fantasy football because my team is actually good. So it's weird. Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper are my receivers. Bijan, Barkley are my running backs. I'm 4th in the league in points for, and I'm 6th. I'm at 3-4 for the season. So 4th in points for, 3-4. That doesn't sound right. So anyways, hopefully keep the good times rolling here. Get back on track. Hopefully we'll go on a 4-game winning streak. But that started last week, so let's keep it going here. Glad you won, though, Fantasy Sports, and thanks for being here, brother. Injuries to Godwin and Evans might force White into more passing situations. Exactly. I know a lot of people are going to be very big on McMillan. I'm going to pivot from that, and I'm actually going to say Trey Palmer is probably going to be a guy that probably benefits more than McMillan will. McMillan has not been very good. He saw a lot of targets and had a drop in the end zone for a touchdown. He was on the field a lot more than Trey Palmer was too. But that's my sneaky take of the week here is I prefer Palmer over McMillan. And I know a lot of people will be looking to empty the tank on McMillan in terms of their fab dollars. Mike Evans is not going to be back until after the bye. Chris Godwin's going to be out for the year. This also elevates big time, and nobody's really talking about Cade Otton. So in the tight end wasteland that we are currently all living in right now, if you need a tight end, I think Cade Otton, who saw 10 targets and I believe 100 yards last night after the Bucks got their doors blown off by my birds. I like Cade Otton a lot. I think that elevates him probably the most out of anybody in this offense. So I'd be looking to go get Cade Otton if he was available. So, but yeah, I know McMillan was a tantalizing prospect out of Washington, but I still prefer Trey Palmer over there. So I would probably go Otton first, Palmer second, and McMillan third of that group. I thought I seen something on Evans. Help me out, Jamie. What are you talking about? For those of you guys who are watching, get 80 people watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. The subscribe button is on our YouTube channel. Make sure you like this video, engage with us. We want as many people to come in here and get all the fantasy goodness. We do fantasy football. We do fantasy baseball. We do the whole 9 yards. Make sure you guys check us out. Obviously, make sure you follow me at _Mike VA, at MJ Govier as well on Twitter. Get in our Discord. It's free. Patreon's $3. You guys know the deal. But we would really, really appreciate liking and subscribing to the YouTube channel. So, Jamie, thanks for being here, man. I'd be interested to know how you did in your leagues, though, man. I know you're in like 20 of them, though, if I'm not mistaken, right? So a couple of guys that we need to talk about. Brandon Aiyuk looks like he's going on season-ending IR. So for me, the number one waiver wire target is Juwan Jennings of the San Francisco 49ers. I know he had a hip injury. There is a chance that he could play Ricky Pearsall for the 49ers as well, the first-round draft pick they had at the back end of the draft out of Florida. I also like him a lot too, but I think Jennings is the number one ad if he's out there for you guys. I would get him over Pearsall number one. So that's first and foremost. The other guys, a lot of these guys are wide receivers. So the third guy that I like is Romeo Doubs of the Green Bay Packers. If he is out there, I would be looking to get him. Looks like squeaky wheel got the grease there, and it has been since he's been back. He caught 2 touchdowns in week 6, had I believe 9 targets and 95 yards on Sunday. So he looks to be the 1B to Jaden Reed's 1A. I still like Dontavian Wicks as well a lot too, because their matchup is very good moving forward, at least for the next couple of games. So really quickly, they get the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville this week. Jacksonville gives up the third most points to fantasy wide receivers, and then they get Detroit, who gives up the 5th most at home in a division matchup. So I love the Green Bay Packer wide receivers. Jaden Reed obviously is going to boom this week. I think he's going to explode on the scene. But I also like Wicks, and I also like Romeo Doubs. So If you guys are just now tuning in because we're getting a big spike here on viewers, my top waiver wire ads for this week: Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, Romeo Doubs. Those are my top 3 for right now for the wide receivers. Rounding out those wide receivers as well after those guys. I like Rashad Bateman, who caught a touchdown. Not seeing a whole lot of targets, and he's kind of hit or miss. He's kind of boom or bust. I like Keon Coleman a lot. For those of you guys who've been watching the show, I liked him a lot going into the season. The addition of Amari Cooper, everyone was oohing and on over Cooper, and rightfully so. But I think this opens up Coleman a lot now too, and not put so much pressure on him to be the guy there in Buffalo. So I like Coleman. He saw, I believe, 12 targets on Sunday. Absolute stud. And then another guy I want to talk about, and he's probably a little bit more universally owned, not universally, but he is owned in a lot of other leagues. He's actually 69% in Yahoo, so maybe he's floating around there. I also have Cortland Sutton this week. I know a lot of people are going to be looking to drop him after his clunker or his zero target stinker on Thursday night against the Saints. But he does get the Carolina Panthers this week at home, and then who give up the 11th most points to wide receivers, and then he gets the Baltimore Ravens, who give it the number 1 amount of points to wide receivers. So just something to think about there. Cortland Sutton is a sneaky ad that I like this week as well. And for next week as well, if he's out there, make sure you guys go grab him. Let's see. Somebody else I like as well is Ray Davis of the Buffalo Bills. Caught a garbage time touchdown, but again, James Cook having the toe issue there. I'm still not 100% sold that's corrected, but I think Davis is going to continue to see looks in this offense. So just a couple of guys I wanted to mention really quick. Harry, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. I don't think I've seen you here before. If you are part of the show and have subscribed to the YouTube channel, thank you very much. I appreciate it. But if you haven't, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We do shows on Tuesdays and Sundays. Come back on Sunday morning, and we'll get your questions answered for all your start sit questions. He asked, how would you rank these wide receivers between Olave, Waddle, Zay Flowers, Devontae Smith, and PPR? And would you drop any except Flowers for Jennings or Coleman? I'm pumping the brakes a little bit here on Keon Coleman because obviously with Amari Cooper there, they do run the football a lot. He's been kind of up and down. I think Coleman is probably lower on my list than most people. I still prefer Jennings. I still prefer Doubs. I still prefer Cortland Sutton even over him. I need to see it another week for Coleman before I'm looking to blow my wad on him. He will get picked up though this week, but I'm not dropping any of these guys here, Brooks. Obviously Olave, with the concussion aspect of it, but he's still too good to be dropping in any leagues, especially in competitive 12 teams or more. Jalen Waddle, he gets Tua back this week. You can't drop him. I actually like him this week. Zay Flowers, obviously you're not dropping him, and Devonta Smith, you can't drop him either. So honestly, man, I know Jennings and Coleman are kind of the new shiny toys on the waiver wire, but it's gonna be tough to kind of predict how Jennings does because these guys, all that you're naming, are guys that you can plug into your wide receiver spots. Jennings is more of a flex play, and so is Coleman. They're long shot wide receiver 3s, flex plays there. The guys that you're naming are all rock solid wide receiver 2s. Most people would argue that Olave is a wide receiver 1. He's not. He's a solid wide receiver 2 for sure. Flowers is flirting with that low end wide receiver 1 numbers now, and Waddle is also with that as too. So that being said, I would not drop any of these guys for those guys that you've mentioned. I would hang on to what you got. Appreciate the question there, Harry. He says, I thought I seen a notification on Mike Evans. Now I can't find it. He's going to be out until after the bye week, which is week 11. So I'll help you out there. Harry says, tough to trust Green Bay wide receivers after Reed. Every week it's someone new, Wicks, Watson, Doubs, depending on whose numbers, whose NOS have called. So Watson's kind of the outlier here. I'm out on Watson. He didn't do, even when he caught that touchdown the week before, he only saw like 4 targets and he didn't do anything last Sunday. So I'm out on Watson. I do agree with his take though, Harry. It's tough to predict, but Doubs has been pretty consistent now for 2 weeks after he sat out. So I think he's the 1B behind Reed. And then I like Wicks a lot too, because we've already seen it from him. He can warrant double-digit targets. He's caught 3 touchdowns in one game. He caught a touchdown last week. So I still like Wicks here. Watson for me, especially with the injury history, I'm good with dropping him. So for the Green Bay wide receivers, I would go Reed, Doubs, and Wicks. But I also like Tucker Kraft too. He's been balling out there as well. What's up, Chad? Chad, I'm interested to hear what you say, man, because you had mentioned me on Twitter and needed some help. So I'm happy to help out here. Part 1 of 2, Mike Evans, 3+ weeks. Zay banged up. Marvin Harrison Jr. struggling. Aaron Jones banged up, but he's balling. I called Aaron Jones, and he's showing the Green Bay Packers how stupid they are for letting him go. Jordan Mason banged up and looming SCMC. Scary Terry on Jaden watch. Softest part of my schedule is right now. I'm all in on winning, and this is Dynasty. Do I trade Evans and Ray Davis for DJ Moore and Josh Jacobs? I personally would. That hamstring injury is going to be really, really tough and look bad. If they're keeping him out until week 11, Chad, that means it's pretty serious. And hamstring injuries are really, really hard to come back from as is. He's already 32. He's a 32-year-old wide receiver. Ray Davis I like too, but James Cook is there. If you're in win now mode and you're all in on winning, DJ Moore, obviously the wide receiver one in there in Chicago, and then Josh Jacobs, who's a volume-based running back and a great offense in Green Bay. I think this is a no-brainer for sure. But I'd be interested to know who else you're keeping in your dynasty league. But for me, I would make this trade 100%. Smash accept. Mike Evans is not playing until week 11, and even then, I don't even feel confident he comes back after the bye week. It's all really going to depend on how bad this injury is and how well he recovers at a 32 years of age. So Ray Davis, I like a lot, but James Cook ain't going anywhere, not for the foreseeable future. You get a wide receiver 1 and an RB1 for these guys. It's a smash accept here for me, Chad. If you have the trade on the docket there. Saints and Kamara agreed to an extension in 2 years, $24.5 million. That ends Kamara trade news. Yeah, I don't think he was going anywhere, but I know that he wanted out of there. So he must have not wanted out of there too bad, unless somebody's willing to pick up that contract. All day, aloha from Hawaii. What's that, brother? Oh, that's cool, man. I wish I was there. Which of these two are you starting? Brian Thomas, Waddle, Dell, and JSN. Already have Jaden Reed and McLaurin locked in. Thanks, brother. Yeah, dude. Here's the thing. McLaurin is probably not going to get Jaden Daniels this week. They're saying it's a week-to-week situation. I think they're going to play it safe with him. We're not going to get the Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels bowl here. I would actually move McLaurin out of your lineup, especially because Marcus Mariota is going to be in there, and they're probably rely on the run in that game. I really don't like that to begin with. So I would definitely lock in Reed. I think he has one of the best, if not the best matchup on the docket here. I think he's a top 5 wide receiver play this week. But my second, I would replace McLaurin with Brian Thomas. And then the other two people that I'm starting, definitely starting Waddle with Tua coming back. I can't start Dell. Well, JSN's the other option here. So Metcalf is also out. So give me Brian Thomas for McLaurin. Sub that out. You cannot sit Brian Thomas right now. He's been too good. And then the other two I'm starting are Waddle and JSN. I know Dell had a big donut, which helped me out because I played him. And I think the squeaky wheel will get the grease. They did say that they need to get him the ball and target him. But at the same time, too, I just prefer these other options, especially JSN now that Metcalf is hurt. So, yeah, Jaden Reed, Brian Thomas, and the other two I'm starting are Waddle and JSN. But thanks for the question there, all day. Enjoy Hawaii, my friend. DTR might be an option in deeper leagues if he does play, if it's not Winston. I think it's Winston. I think they released that not too long ago there, Jamie, but I could be wrong. 12-man PPR. Do I trade DJ Moore, Ramondre, Tank Bigsby for Kyren and Juju? I'm immediately taking Juju out of this equation because I've never really liked him as a receiver. And I know he had that big game, but I believe he's questionable. He's got the questionable tag. So I'm not 100% positive with Juju there. He's the vaulted number one wide receiver with Rashee Rice going down. I think this is a lot to give up for Kyren Williams. So I look at this as DJ Moore, Ramondre, and Tanks Bigsby for Kyren Williams. So guys, I don't know what it is about this room, but I get so damn thirsty every time I'm talking here. It's like this room is dry or something. I have no idea. It's like my makeshift office in my guest room here. No, I'm not making this trade. I would keep DJ Moore, Ramondre, and Tanks Bigsby. I like Kyren Williams. I would do this trade, Avery, if you are able to swap out Juju with somebody else. I just think that's too much, and Juju is something that I don't want. So, appreciate the question there, man. Keep them coming. If you have anything else, let me know. Thomas used him. Dell could be almost a drop, which is nuts to think about. Yeah, Dell's not a drop for me right now, Jamie. I know he had that big clunker on Sunday, but he's too talented to be on the waiver wire. He's a locked and loaded, got to be on your team rest of season. The talent's too good. We saw that last year. Chad says, the rest of my depth is fun, guys. I can't trust Trey Tucker, Pop Douglas, Vital, LMC, Vele, and because I'm a genius, I totally dropped former favorite prospect Trey Palmer for DeMarcado on Saturday. Yeah, dude, I like Trey Palmer more than I do McMillan. I'm sorry, I do, and I think that will show. Mike V, thanks for always being available for your subs. Your advice during fantasy baseball season was great. I won in my main league. Yeah, dude, appreciate you, man. Thanks for the comment and the good vibes there. I do fantasy baseball. That's my bread and butter, but I also love fantasy football as well. So I'm glad that you're here, fantasy sports, and thank you for being a staple to the show. I'll speak for the rest of the guys. We really enjoy having you. So thanks a lot. Avery says, I also have AJ Brown, Marvin, Brian Thomas. That's why I considered it. So let me go bring up to the rest of your trade here. Yeah. So Marvin here. Yeah. Okay. So I don't mind making this is crazy that you have all these guys in a 12-man PPR. You must be in a good spot. What place are you in? I'd be interested to know. And then who else are your running backs? Because you're giving up 2 of them. Not to mention, too, you'd have to drop somebody. So that also would be something I would be looking to find out, Avery, is who are you dropping because it's a 3 for 2? Who are your other running backs? Give me that info, and I can give you a much better answer. Joe Chris, hey, Mike, with Evans and Godwin's out, is McMillan a better option than Ladd, Pop Douglas, or Worthy, thinking maybe he breaks out? He saw 8 targets. He dropped some balls, and he also dropped a touchdown. So I just got finished saying here, Joe, I actually think Trey Palmer is the beneficiary here of both Godwin and Evans being out and not McMillan. I think Cade Otton is the number 1 target now in this offense, followed by Trey Palmer and then McMillan. I know that the stats don't necessarily show that, but he's got the best rapport with Baker Mayfield already. And obviously McMillan being a rookie, he's had some drop issues. He is a be careful. It's a trap. Have you guys seen that Star Wars gif? McMillan's a trap for me. I don't have any claims in for him in any of my leagues because I'm just not willing to spend on him. So I would much rather have Trey Palmer at a cheaper price. So, but is he worth a add over Ladd McConkey? I don't think so. Especially in PPR, I think they'll get the passing game rolling here. They showed that on Monday night yesterday that they need to be able to throw the ball more. McConkey's going to be the guy that they're going to be targeting, especially with Quentin Johnson out. They targeted Will Dissly a shit ton in that game. Ladd McConkey was, I think, hurt and banged up a little bit. So I do think he's the number 1 wide receiver in that room, though. So do I like him over Pop Douglas or Worthy? I would go get McMillan and drop Pop Douglas for sure. I just don't like anybody on the Patriots offense, to be 100% honest with you here, Joe. And then Worthy, obviously tantalizing rookie out of Texas. He hasn't really done much, but I do think he needs to be rostered, at least stashed on your bench until we start seeing some life from him. So who would you drop? Also have Vidal and Corum to back out or back up Williams. Okay. I'm still keeping Vidal and Corum for sure. So I would drop Pop Douglas. I'm tied for second with someone else. I'm 5-2. The only other running back I have is Bucky and Kamani Vidal. So you're trading away both Bigsby and Ramondre, and then you're only left with Bucky and Vidal. Then I probably wouldn't make this trade, to be 100% honest with you. Slightly breaking news. Yeah, we saw this, Chad. Kamara signs a 2-year extension with Saints, further angering Kendre Miller owners. Yeah, who said that earlier? I think Avery said that, if I'm not missing. No, Harry Brooks said it. He beat you to the punch there, Chad. But yeah, Kamara staying with New Orleans. I'm 6-1. My second receiver has been a crapshoot. Yeah, I hear you, Joe. I honestly would probably take a shot on McMillan, but and Pop and him are probably pretty much the same player for me. I know he left on Sunday as well, so the delta between the two is not very high. And again, I think he's third in that pecking order. McMillan. I think he's going to be behind Otton. I think he's going to be behind Trey Palmer, and he might even be behind Sean Tucker and Rashad White too in that offense. So he's a rookie, and Palmer has a better rapport with him, and I think he's going to be targeting the tight end more in that offense. So give me Trey Palmer at a cheaper price. But if you're not into that and you're buying the buzz with McMillan, I understand that as well. He's a lottery ticket, And but for me, I would much rather have Pop Douglas. But if you're asking me to choose between all of these players, I would drop Pop for McMillan. Hope that helps there, Joe. Okay, we talked about that. Speaking of the Saints, are we taking a shot on Marquez Valdez-Scantling? That's who MVS is. Former Green Bay Packer, former Buffalo Bill, who they cut. They need a wide receiver in that room. He's always been a big play guy. Like, he hasn't been really a possession receiver. He's kind of the guy who's a streaker down the sideline. So no, not unless you're playing the like 16 or deeper. So I'm not in on MVS, especially with their quarterback situation and Spencer Rattler. So if Derek Carr starts, maybe, but if it's Spencer Rattler, no, thank you. Which, by the way, I do want to go on record of saying this. I did call the Spencer Rattler thing that, and this is not it's not like I had some inside intel or anything else like that. Like, it's pretty common to understand that when you get rookie quarterbacks, especially for a guy that was like the 6th quarterback off the board there in the NFL draft, and Spencer Rattler. Even when Olave comes back, he's not startable with Spencer Rattler at the helm. So I am not looking to start anybody on the New Orleans Saints with Rattler at the helm. So hope that helps there, Chad. I could also grab Bateman if he's out there, says Joe. Yeah, I would much rather have Bateman over McMillan, and I would drop Pop Douglas for him in a heartbeat. Joe, that's much rather have that guy over. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Baltimore fan. We've seen the production from Bateman, but again, he's number 2, 3, depending on what game we're talking about. He's got a rapport with Lamar Jackson. He was a good prospect coming out of Minnesota. I like Bateman a lot, and I think he can continue this so long as he stays healthy, which has always been his MO since he's come over to us. So. Since we drafted him. Chad is saying he's going to have all the Shaheed targets. Yeah, probably. But, again, he needs Derek Carr to be viable. And even then, MVS has had some pretty good quarterbacks in his time. Josh Allen being one of them most recently. Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, and just hasn't worked out. So I'm out on MVS. It's just not a guy that I'm willing to buy. So I will say I do agree with Dennis Allen that Rattler has been okay when he's had good O-line work. He just doesn't have that very often with the injuries. Yeah, but he's also made some questionable throws. He just looks like a rookie there. So that's coach talk there for Hunt. That's, obviously because he's their starter. He's not going to say he sucks. He's a rookie. You just can't trust anybody in New Orleans, man. Including Chris Olave if he were to play this week. I want nothing to do with that Saints offense until Derek Carr returns. Mike, have you ever played in any IDP leagues with offense? You're talking about like the individual defensive players. Yeah, I have. It's been a while since I've played that. I'll be 100% honest with you. I'm probably not keen on the idea of it. I know that's people want that to be a thing. It's just, I don't know. I think it makes fantasy football a lot more fun. I'd be interested in maybe playing in a league that has an IDP, but not usually something that tickles my fancy there, fantasy sports. Avery says, do you think Bigsby maintains a fantasy relevant role in the Jags offense, even with a healthy ETN eventually? I do. I know a lot of people were saying that Bigsby's not a thing and it's ETN's offense and he's the number one bell cow. We've seen it. ETN's been banged up too. Bigsby's been the much more productive back this year. So I do think he'll probably see a split workload. The other thing is ETN and Bigsby are both going to be playing. So I kind of look at this as the Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary. They'll probably ride the hot hand here. But Bigsby's been the hot hand. So, but they're not going to go away from Travis Etienne. He got a lot of confidence from Doug Peterson saying that he's still the guy in Jacksonville. Jacksonville's offense looked good against New England, but most weeks they're not going to look very good. Just a dumpster fire there in Jacksonville. Doug Peterson needed that win against the Patriots in London on Sunday, or he would have been fired. But they got some pretty good players on this team. It's just their defense has been terrible, and they have to be in position to throw the football. So maybe they get back to running the football here to keep their defense off the field. I do think Bigsby, long-winded answer here, Avery, does have a fantasy relevant role when ETN returns. So I'd definitely keep him. He's kind of a low-end flex for me, a mid-range maybe, depending on the matchup, so long as ETN's healthy. So It's a big debate right now because of Travis Hunter. I've seen a lot of people wanting to convert IDP leagues just for him. Yeah, dude, that's funny. For those of you guys who don't know, Travis Hunter is the corner / receiver for the University of Colorado, likely Heisman candidate or Heisman winner. He is a Heisman candidate. He's the Heisman winner in my book. He's the Shohei Ohtani of football. When you play both ways and you're that good at both of your positions there, he's a guy that I like a lot, and would make IDP a lot more fun just so I could roster him. I'd be interested to know how Yahoo does that or any of those other platforms do it, because he's a wide receiver. Like, does he count as both, or is it Travis Hunter wide receiver, or is it Travis Hunter corner, or do you get basically he can play in both spots? Thank you guys for your questions. I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. Govier is not with us today. Hopefully he's back with us on Sunday for the waiver, the start stick show on Sunday at 11:15. Make sure you guys tune in then, get all your questions answered, all those tough start stick questions. One thing that I guarantee is you will get your question answered on this show versus the other shows that sometimes people just literally gloss over your question and go to the next one and just randomly pick them. We get to every question. So make sure you tune in this Sunday, 11:15. Myself, Michael Govier,
Utah.
Pallazzo podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's. Make sure you guys are following us. You guys know the deal. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Let's see. Chad says it would be Jamal Agnew probably, where he's just a corner for the first few years but gets offensive stats. Yeah, probably, Chad. You're right. What's your overall take on carrying 2 quarterbacks in a 1 quarterback required team league? Should you rather use that spot on another position? I have both Tua and Daniels. Well, you're going to need a quarterback this week, Harry. I used to be all out on rostering 2 quarterbacks in 1 quarterback leagues. But if you own a guy like Patrick Mahomes, who hasn't been very good, but you can't drop him. If you own a guy like Jaden Daniels, who's hurt, you can't drop him. You need a quarterback. You got to play him. So in this situation, when you have injured quarterbacks, especially, it's kind of like, this is the argument I didn't understand until later. We roster handcuffs with running backs, and they eat up a bench spot even though they don't play. Like, for instance, Tyler Algier, who's had some value in some games. But we don't do that with quarterbacks. We don't protect our investment of Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen with a backup guy that can slot in, especially if you're in first place, second place, third place, whatever it may be. You need a viable quarterback that can step in just in case that quarterback gets hurt. So I'm all in on rostering 2 quarterbacks. I don't care what league you play in. 10-team leagues, I'm probably a little bit less on doing that, just because you probably have some value there and some quarterbacks sitting on the waiver wire that can help you out. But yeah, you're going to need 2 of this week here, Harry, because Daniels is unlikely to play, in my opinion. I think they're going to be smart with him, give him a week. Bears is not a good matchup either. When Daniels got hurt, I picked up Caleb Williams right away on my home league. So I will be starting Caleb Williams this week over Daniels. So good question there, man. I like that question a lot. And I think it's definitely a thing to do, especially when you own a guy like Daniels. You need somebody like Tua who can step in and maybe not get you the rushing upside or the obviously ceiling value that Daniels gets you. But you're going to get a rock solid amount of points to help you win your league or help you win your week. And you're not starting a guy like, Spencer Rattler, for instance, you know what I mean? If Daniels were to go down. So backing up that quarterback investment with a solid backup in Tua, I think, is a smart idea there, Harry. Great question. How about Pearsall? Now that San Fran receivers are out, seems guys who got who get shot eventually break out. CB Rupp. Yeah, I like Pearsall. I still prefer Juwan Jennings in that receiving group. I think this elevates George Kittle, which also isn't getting talked about enough in this. I feel bad for Aiyuk, just got paid, but now he's out. And Deebo Samuel was released from the hospital today with pneumonia. There's no timeline on his return. I doubt he plays this week. So, and same thing with Jennings, right? Jennings has a hip injury, did not practice all week, but Shanahan did say he does have a chance to play this week. If he were to be out, Pearsall gets elevated into that wide receiver 1 role. I do think Pearsall needs to be owned, but it also depends on who you're dropping there, Joe. I still prefer Juwan Jennings. If you missed the beginning part of the show, make sure you rewind it. I kind of gave my waiver wire options there. Jennings is number 1 for me, followed by Pearsall. And then it's Romeo Doubs. Those are my 3 guys off wide receivers that I'd be looking to target. I can make an argument that Doubs needs to be rostered over Pearsall, though. But Pearsall, again, first game back. He's a rookie. Shanahan's one of those guys that you got to like earn his trust kind of thing. So who knows? But I still prefer Juwan Jennings of this group. Let's see. Who would you start this weekend? Ramondre, Bigsby, Bucky. I have Gibbs locked in. Give me Bucky Irving. Too good to sit right now. Ramondre, don't like Bigsby. And they're going to have to throw in that game in Jacksonville to stay in it. Jamie says, well, Mike, if you played college fantasy football, Hunter would be a cheat code. LOL, it happens a little more often. Yeah, dude. I don't think I'll ever play college fantasy football. I like betting on college football. The player pool is just too vast for me. And you can't teach an old dog new tricks, man. I'm an old guy. I don't like learning new things or playing new sports. I usually just stick to baseball and football. Pro, mind you. And then I just got into fantasy basketball again. So yippee me. I'm not doing fantasy basketball content. Sorry, guys. But I was really happy with my draft yesterday. So I had the 3rd overall pick. I got Luka Doncic. Yeah, that's how you say his name. Tells you how much I watch basketball. I know who Luka is. But I'm interested to get back into basketball. I used to be really big into basketball. But since I'm a big LeBron James guy, since LeBron beat the Warriors down from 3-1 in the finals, everything else, I just stopped watching it after that because I'm like, oh, you can't go any more than this. I've already reached my max here. I'm out. But I'm excited to get back in the basketball season, which I believe starts tonight. So cool. I think you can drop Mahomes. There are plenty of higher upside waiver options. Chad, I hope you're joking here, dude. Last few years have been pretty popular on handcuffing Hurts, Allen Lamar with the hot rookie Richardson last year, Daniels this year. Yeah, I agree on this take for sure. I drafted Mahomes and took AR5 for my second. Yep, there you go. So I think he's 15 now, if I'm not mistaken. Bowers is a stud, maybe a top 3 tight end getting drafted next year. Yeah. The quarterback situation sucks. They better help. Yeah, sure as hell better hope they take a quarterback or sign one because Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell, who's on the IR now, are not getting it done. I think having a decent quarterback will elevate Bowers, but I agree. I think Bowers is the number 1 dynasty tight end for me. I drafted 6 QBs in best ball in 3rd place. Dude, you did not. Did you really draft 6 quarterbacks? That's crazy. Roto World said it perfectly. Mahomes is now Brady in every sense. Insane talent, nearly unbeatable, but not a fantasy friendly style. Man, I don't know, dude. I can't get behind dropping Patrick Mahomes. There's just no way I'm doing that. If you drafted him, you got to keep him. My wide receiver 1 is Cooper. Amari Cooper Kupp. Who are we talking about? Keep your eyes on Cowing as well. This is another guy that's not getting talked about enough. I don't really know much about him, to be 100% honest, but I know a lot of people have been buzzing him for sure. Blue Yays, what's up, man? I don't think I've seen you on the show before. Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We do shows on Tuesday and Sunday. He says, traded Jacobs for DJ Moore and mid-round pick, 3-player keepers. Need a wide receiver bad. Still have Kamara, Hunt, Hubbard, and Bigsby. Asked around. It's the best I could get. I know it's not the best value. Sorry, I'm not understanding which side you get. Are you getting the Jacobs and DJ Moore for the mid-round pick? If you got Jacobs and DJ Moore, that's a great trade for you. Yeah, I guess I'm not understanding your question here, Blue Yays. Who did you get and who did you give up? Just keep it simple for me. He says, I'm 100% not joking. He has one QB 12 or better week in the last 12 months now. Yeah, but we're still talking about Patrick Mahomes. We're not talking about Sam Darnold or anybody else like that. I think Patrick Mahomes should be stashed on your bench until he gets his head out of his ass. So having a Sam Darnold to do that and back him up with, I think is good. But Patrick Mahomes was drafted as a top 3 quarterback. He's just not having a good year so far. And to your point, the last 12 months. But he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's getting talked in and out in the same breath as Tom Brady is the best of all time. I'm simply not dropping him. There's no way in hell. Well, I can teach you college. Yeah, that's not happening, Jamie. Sorry, dude. Not sure if it's true, but saw reports on Minnesota looking to trade for Stafford as much as good Darnold is Stafford will elevate Minnesota offense to another level. I did not see that report, but that's interesting. I don't know why they would do that with how well Sam Darnold is playing. Maybe he turns it back into a pumpkin. Then I can maybe understand it, but Darnold's been pretty good. I would love that trade for Minnesota. That'd be cool. And yeah, I mean, he's already elevated guys like Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. So I think that would obviously elevate him even more. But yeah, that'd be an interesting trade. Okay, got it. Blue Jays, you traded Jacobs for DJ and a pick. Yeah, I think that's a lot. But if you needed the wide receiver, I understand that. Jacobs for me is probably a top 10 back though, where I can't say the same thing about DJ. So slight L there for me, Blue Jays, but I get the desperation. Who are your other running backs and who are your other receivers? I'd be interested to know that. Joe Chris, got to get that high points in one position each week. Mahomes, May, Caleb, Daniels, Fields. Yeah, got it. Okay, in best ball. I see what you're saying. What's up, Joe? Thanks for always for the content, brother. Absolutely, man. Thanks for being here and appreciate the kind words. Deserve so many more views. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. Make sure you like and subscribe and retweet out this. If you're on Twitter, make sure you tweet this out. Get your friends in here, man. Trade Mahomes for Brandon Aubrey. LOL. Yeah, I mean, it's got. I think we're all in cuckoo land here, guys. Week 8, we're talking about dropping Patrick Mahomes. There's not a chance in hell that can happen. But Joe, thank you so much for the kind word, man. Kind words. Really appreciate it. We try to do our best. It's a free show. We don't get paid for it. We would love to at some point. So helping us get to 1,000 followers would be great. So thank you very much for the kind word, man. Kind words. I appreciate it. And it's something that we love doing. So thanks for being here. Let's see. Blue Jay says running backs right now are Kamara, Hunt, Pacheco, Hubbard, and Bigsby. Wide receivers are Kupp, Reed. Man, I don't know if I would have made that trade, dude, because I think your wide receivers are actually pretty rock solid. Cooper Kupp comes back this week. You got Jaden Reed, who's really good. Jacoby Myers is ass. Sutton, I like, has a great. I already talked about him earlier in the show. He's got next 2 weeks. He's got a really, really 2 good matchups between Carolina and Baltimore. So, yeah, I wouldn't have made this trade, man. I don't think there's a need here. If anything, you need that running back now more so than ever. Rock solid there with Jacobs. Yeah, man, I probably wouldn't have done that. I love Kamara, but I'm Hunt hit or miss. Pacheco, who knows if he comes back this year? Hubbard's been good. It's not a terrible trade. I just again, I think you overspent just a tad there. Just going to throw that out there. The Vikings face the Rams this week on Thursday night, so I suspect some tomfoolery. Yeah, forgot about that. Yeah, they're not. Wouldn't that be some shit if Stafford went to the Vikings right before they kicked off? Joe says, of course, man, dropping Geno for May. No, not doing that. May's got a good matchup this week. I know that he just lost DK Metcalf, but he's still got some weapons in there as well. I don't remember who the Seahawks played. Excuse me. Sorry. Let me look it up. Unless somebody beats me to it. The Seahawks play the Falcons. Yeah. So not a world beater on defense there. I think Geno's the play. Not a Drake May guy. Anybody looks good against Jacksonville, by the way. And I don't even think he had that great of a game, to be 100% honest. If I look back at his game log here, why do they do this? Why can't they put the games in order of who played? And I'm not looking at week 6. I'm looking at week 7. Okay, here we go. So they lost 32-16. He was 26 for 37 with 276 yards, 2 TDs, no interceptions. Quarterback rating of 109.7. Anybody looks good against Jacksonville there, Joe. So no, I'd keep Geno. I think this is elevates JSN though. So B Henny, what's up, dude? Fresh off work. I want to show some love to the channel. I appreciate you, brother. Thanks so much, man. Congratulations too on your fantasy baseball championship. I believe you tweeted at us the other day about your fantasy football trophy. I believe that was you, if I'm not mistaken, right? I'm just going back through my Twitter feed. It was you. Yeah, I love the hardware, dude. That's sick. I'm glad you were able to get a fantasy baseball championship, my dude. Keep up the good work, and thanks for being here. All right, we are about 45 minutes into the show. Get your questions in here now. Otherwise, I'm going to log off and I'm going to go have some dinner with my wife. So, again, just real quick, just to recap, if you're just tuning in, my top 3 waiver claims this week for the wide receivers are going to be Juwan Jennings, number 1, Ricky Pearsall, number 2, Romeo Doubs, number 3, If Cortland Sutton is still out there, I would put him number 4. Dontavian Wicks, number 5. Rashad Bateman, number 6. Those are my receivers off the top of my head that I can remember that I like. Keon Coleman probably slots in there as well, probably before Rashad Bateman. So running backs wise, if Tyrone Tracy is still available, make sure you go get him. Ray Davis is somebody I like. Not a big week for running backs because just not a lot of guys that got hurt or not. The handcuffs aren't elevated. So not a big week there for running backs. If you lost Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams is still out there, go grab him. He's the number 1 ad. If you need Jaden Daniel replacement, go get Caleb Williams. Gets the Washington Commanders this week. Should it be able, and coming off a really, really good 2 games before the bye week. I love Caleb Williams this week in a smash spot against Washington. So, yeah. Tight ends this week, obviously Cade Otton would be my number 1 ad of this week as well, just simply because of the injuries to Godwin and Evans. I think he's elevated into the number 1 pass catcher there in Tampa Bay. Good red zone target there for Baker Mayfield. So I like him as the number 1 ad there as well for tight ends. So thank you guys very much for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys. You're going to watch Towns tonight. Is that a TV show? I'm not a big TV guy. Really just watch sports and the news. So no, I probably won't be watching that. The only show that I watch, and this is sad to say, I watch Hell's Kitchen with Gordon Ramsay with my wife. Not when it airs live. We usually watch it like Monday, Tuesday on Hulu. So, and I also love MasterChef. So big cooking show guy. But no, I don't even know what Towns is. If I should, Jamie, let me know what channel it's on so I can check it out. I like streaming shows too. All right. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. I'm going to hop out of here. It doesn't look like we got any more questions. 124 viewers. Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I promise one day Govier and I are going to get on the same page here and get on the show together. Football season is always kind of hit or miss. But I'm going to give us some grace because we do not have any breaks. We go baseball straight into football. And then before you know it, baseball will be here right back at it again. So for free content creators, sometimes we got to take a step back and do some stuff for ourselves, families, friends. If you're like me, my buddy's like, hey, you want to go on a golf trip, drink bourbon and eat barbecue? The answer was 1,000,000% yes. Does Pallazzo take a backseat to that? Yes, unfortunately. And shit happens. So, my big thing is make sure you guys are checking in on your mental health here too, especially as the seasons start to change. It's important to kind of take some time for yourself. Take a step away from TV screens. Life's too short. So go enjoy the time with people who care about you. Have some fun. Do what you need to do. All right. And here's the other thing too that I also want to say. You don't owe an explanation to anybody in terms of things that you want to do in your life, even if people don't agree with it. So make sure you guys do what you need to do. Take some time for yourself. Get away from the TV screens from time to time. Get away from fantasy sports from time to time. Enjoy your lives. Get out there. Hang out with people you love. Enough ranting. NBA, LOL. Karl Anthony Towns. Sorry. If you had said K Towns, man, I would have understand what you meant. But, again, I'm not a basketball guy through and through. I know Karl Anthony Towns is on the New York Knicks now. But yeah, I probably will be watching some basketball tonight just because I'm trying to get back into it. So, and when you play fantasy, it makes you want to play fantasy. When you play fantasy basketball, it makes you want to watch basketball to watch your guys, right? So that'll be fun. Yeah, Jamie, I'll probably watch a little bit. Thank you guys very much. Govier and I will be back on Sunday, 11:15, answering all your start state questions. In the meantime, hit me up on Twitter @_MikeVA. If you have any questions, leave a comment here on the YouTube channel. If we missed it, I promise you we'll get back to it. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Every single one of the questions, you guys were great. This has been
Give me 2.
the Pallazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's. Thank you all very much. I'm going to turn it over to Huck It, Chuck It Football. Later, guys.
Fucking Roethlisberger, the quarterback, was all fucking hug it.